I've been trading sleep for dopamine, stacking wins like sins in a slot machine. I don't trust charts, I trust caffeine, and this voice in my head that says buy the dream. I put my rent on a breakout play, turn 20 bucks into an MBA. Now I'm God in a Discord full of fools, passing off drama as technical roles. Green looks good on me, even if I'm dead inside. I'll be rich and emotionally fried. Green looks good on me. I got bags under my eyes, but my portfolio's high, I'll survive. I talk in candlesticks, sleeping ticks. Therapist says I'm addicted to risk, but hey, she charges by the hour while I compound gains like drunken power. My last ex said I was hard to read, so I sent her a chart. S&P, I treat FOMO like foreplay, baby. I make dumb moves, look Warren Beatty. Green looks good on me, even if I'm losing friends. At least I've got passes and common bins. Green looks good on me. I'll burn out by 33, but I'll YOLO in peace, finally free. I'm the king of bad ideas with a Robin Hood crown. I turn therapy into a market rebound. Yeah, I'm charmingly reckless, chaotically blessed, with a six-figure ego and zero rest. Green looks good on me, like a noose made of dollar signs, smiling while I cross those lines. Green looks good on me. Call it luck, call it skill. Either way, I'm paying my therapist back. Green looks good on me, even if I'm dead inside. I'll be rich and emotionally fried. Green looks good on me. I got bags under my eyes, but my portfolio's high, I'll survive.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show. Today is Tuesday, August the 5th, and things are looking kind of bullish this morning. In fact, we had a solid 2% rally in the NASDAQ yesterday. It's continuing early this morning, and that's basically because a lot of people are still jacked up of Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR's lights out earnings report last night. Of course, on top of that, there's a lot of other news we got to get into. So yes, we're going to be talking about individual equity stuff. We got some Palantir news, some HIMS news, some Taiwan semiconductor news. I think there was either maybe an Apple or Tesla one in there, some Pfizer news for sure. So we'll get into that. Of course, we're going to be talking about today's seasonality and the individual economic reports that you should be paying attention to today. And then we're also going to talk about the larger picture. For example, what in the world is going on with our trade deal with the EU? Well, we got some good news on that this morning. We have some specific news related to India and Switzerland. President Trump was on Squawk Box this morning, and I don't know how many of you did or didn't listen to that. It really always strikes me of how often he just doesn't let anyone else talk. I mean, time and time again, the interviewers were trying to ask questions, and the guy just goes on and on and on and on and on, and he literally does not even let the interviewer ask him questions. But even with that being said, we still did get some interesting nuggets of information, such as the fact that Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, not going to be leaving. He is not interested in carrying a different position. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the chairman of the Fed, doesn't talking about the, chief of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That was one update. The other thing that's already being widely reported is President Trump is not considering running for another time, which that in itself would be a crazy situation. And then there was just a lot of back and forth about what numbers are right, and they're trying to fact check him halfway through the interview. And of course, he says some things that are technically true, other things he's seemingly making up on the spot, and a lot of verbose, hyperbolic commentary of this is the best economy, this is the best country, everyone wants to be here, the best, that type of stuff. They did have some more pointed questions about the jobs and the revisions of jobs, especially previously President Trump accusing the numbers of being rigged and only there to benefit Kamala. And, I don't know, hats off to Squawk Box. They came prepared and they had some of their facts, and they're like, hey man, a lot of these things were revised either way before or way after you were elected, not necessarily around the time of the when people are voting in the actual election. So what do you mean that like it was meant to hinder you and that type of a thing? So I'm sure they're going to cut it up. I'm sure they're going to put it out there. I don't know necessarily if it was like a must listen to thing, like maybe if you're bored or if it's lunch and you just want to listen to it on 2x speed. But in my humble opinion, there was nothing really going on that I was like, oh my God, like everyone needs to know this. Everyone needs to know this. What was this? Liked your XRP video yesterday? Dude, weird reaction to that. I made a video on XRP yesterday just because there was nothing else going on, and I thought it was pretty fair and balanced. I said, hey, I'm not changing my opinion. I do not think it's a good investment because in my understanding of the situation, there are better alternatives for currency swaps. And right now it's losing out on the race. And you might be able to argue, well, yeah, it's losing out on the race because it was hindered this, that, the other thing. I don't really care about why. I care about who's winning the race and what is the best technology, what is the most front-leading technology to possibly do these currency swaps so we can get off of the SWIFT system. And because of that, because of the fact that I don't think XRP is the leading one really by any means, I don't think it's a good investment. But as I've always said, I think it's a great active trade. It has a lot of volatility. It has a lot of range. You can make money on a swing trade to the upside. You can make money on a swing trade to the downside. I feel like I really didn't change my opinions. If anything, I thought I was actually kind of being more reasonable on both sides of like, hey, I see this case, here are my own thoughts. And people kind of interpreted it in extreme of two ways. And feel free to check out the comments. Some people thought I was just absolutely hating on XRP because I said I didn't want to invest in it, even though I admitted it was an active trade. And then on the other side, people are like, oh my God, you've always hated XRP. Why are you telling us to now buy it? Which once again, I made my thoughts explicitly clear. I think it's a great active trade, but I would never invest in it. Completely interesting. And then you get dumb comments like this. Matt, your Trump derangement system is bleeding viewers on Rumble. Good for you. I don't name one way in which I have Trump derangement system. Or Trump derangement syndrome, excuse me, TDS. Just because I'm balanced, I'm come here and I say, hey, here's what's good, here's what's bad, these are my own thoughts. You interpret that to be TDS. This is what I don't get is you have just such low IQ individuals where that's like their only response. They're like, if you say something that for whatever reason they are told that they should not agree with, or it doesn't sound like the script that they've been hearing over and over again, they're like, oh, you have TDS. But yet you can tell that they have like no thoughts of their own because you're like, well, why? Explain that. Dive into it. Give me an example. What did I say that was wrong? How do you view it? And they're like, no, that's not what I was told was right. Like, dude, Jesus, like, grow up. LOL triggered. It's so easy. No, I don't think you understand that I'm making fun of you. It's sad that you're an adult. It is sad that your vote matters as much as my vote. It's just completely sad across the board that in many ways of life, you and I are considered the same person, the same input, the same value, when one of us puts in actual critical thought and the other one just is following the script over and over and over again. It's sad to see. I get it. You'd expect that more out of a toddler of certain sorts, but no, there are in fact adults right here in chat right now who cannot come up with their own clear, lucid thought based on information. All they can do is half-ass regurgitate something that they were told they should think about and believe in because, I don't know, someone on social media or mainstream media told them that that was the right way to be. And hey, if you want to do that with politics, I don't agree with it. I think it's not going to be good for you individually, your family, your locality, your state, your country, globally. I don't think it's going to be good, but hey, whatever. I'm not your mom. What I can tell you is if you bring that exact same mindset to the world of trading and investing, it's only a matter of time before you go broke. So even though one is more or less detrimental, I suppose, depending on how you look on it, I can promise you, especially in the world of active trading, if you carry that exact same mindset of like, nope, I'm told that this is right. I believe this is right. I'm not going to think about it. There's no critical thought. There's no back testing. There's no analysis. There's no admission of the pros and the cons and what can go right and what can go wrong. If you bring that mindset to the world of active trading, especially active trading, but it's still pretty bad in investing as well, it's only a matter of time before you blow out. It's only a matter of time for you blow out. And in terms of quote unquote bleeding people, yeah, it's the people who blow out their trading accounts and don't want to trade anymore because they're not like hearing this warning. Folks, you are listening to a guy right now who has fallen for every trap, tripped into every single pitfall possible in the world of active trading. This isn't coming from a person who's like, hey, like I figured this all out and this is how you should do it and this is gospel and I'm right. This is coming from a person who's been absolutely bludgeoned by the world of active trading, and more because of the scars and the broken bones and the financial distress of my own journey on it. I'm sharing that with you to try to scream from the mountaintop of don't do this because I've made that exact same mistake. So I'm trying to like lessen everyone else's painful journey. And trust me, active trading is a very, very, very painful journey. Obviously, there's clear successes at the end if you can survive that marathon, the gauntlet that is, especially the earlier stages of your active trading. That's what this all is. And I'm telling you, I've been there. I've had those beliefs. I'm like, nope, this has to be right. This is how you have to engage in the market because someone told me, and they have fancy pictures on their Instagram and they whatever have a following. So they must be right, blah, 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 blah. I've made every mistake possible. And I'm probably even going to invent new mistakes that you can make and didn't even know about it. So please, I guess I don't think it's good for the world of politics to have that exact opinion, but I'm telling you, if you bring it to the world of trading, it's going to end very, very poorly. S&P 500 futures inch higher after benchmark snaps a losing streak. Palantir pops on earnings. So out of the gate today, things are looking decent. We pretty much rallied all day yesterday. We are slightly above that on both the SPY and the Qs. Meta caught my interest this morning just because it also had a uniquely strong day yesterday. You can see up 3.5%. But Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR, is very much the belle of the ball, making an all-time high in pre-market trading, currently trading at 172, up in excess of 7% in pre-market trading on top of a 4% gain yesterday. So of course we're going to be getting into all that, but the first thing I really want to talk about is Trump's interview this morning. He was on CNBC's Squawk Box. Like I said, nothing too special. There was no just jaw-dropping announcement, no surprise announcements or anything like that. If anything, just quite a bit of interrupting the people trying to ask him questions. Maybe the thing that has the biggest impact with respect to all of us, China, Trump, US, it seems like they're kind of both open to a meeting. Doesn't really seem as if we have anything really etched in stone, solidified. We will meet with China's Xi before the end of the year if there's a trade deal. At one point, he complained about the fact that it's a 19-hour flight, and then I thought about it, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do a 19-hour flight either. So that was one thing that there might, I don't know. We've been hearing this ever since, like, even before April with the trade war stuff of like, yeah, no, like we have somewhat of a good relationship with China. We're going to meet with them. But once again, I guess the can is always just getting kicked down the road. Also in the political sphere, and I don't want to spend too much time here, but have you guys been tracking what is going on in Texas? This is kind of a crazy situation. So it all has to do with redrawing lines and gerrymandering. And right now the GOP is arguing, hey, we're allowed to do it because it's always been done against us. So it's kind of like when you have two children and they're fighting, well, like I can hit him because he hit me. And then like, obviously it just, I don't know, balloons out of control. Trump's Texas gambit ignites nationwide battle for House control. Red states plan to redraw district lines, prompt Democrats to retaliate with their own gerrymander push. But from there, which apparently there was like arrests or warrants for the arrests of some of the Democrats, which they need for the vote, were leaving the state of Texas. Texas governor orders arrest of Democrats who left the state, once again, leaving to, I guess, avoid this vote. I mean, the whole situation, it's becoming very, very childish, but here's a little bit of what they had to say.
The tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. A map that seeks to use racial lines to divide hard-working communities who have spent decades building up their power and strengthening their voices. And Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump.
To those who are absent, return now. Show the courage to face the issues you were elected to solve. Come back and fulfill your duty, because this House will not sit quietly while you obstruct the work of the people. The people of Texas are watching, and so is the nation. And if you choose to continue down this road, you should know there will be consequences.
And those potential consequences are them getting arrested. So I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of development there. I want to be clear, this whole thing, like I said, it's tit for tat, and it's not like one side is better than the other. Both red and blue, historically very well known for both gerrymandering. When they have an opportunity to do it, to seize more power, they take it. So to think that your side is the right side in this one, no. It's not. Both sides have done this, and there's clear evidence of both sides doing it for decades and decades and decades. So this is, once again, more of my admonishment of all political leaders, and why do they just act like children day in and day out. EU halts retaliatory tariffs as it finalizes U.S. trade deal. So this was reported pretty early by the Financial Times. It's part of why the futures market is up in pre-market trading. And then it was a little bit expounded upon in the CNBC chit chat this morning. So right now, even though we were promised time and time and time again by Howard Lutnick that no one's going to be getting a break, we're not kicking the can down the road, I swear. Well, guess exactly what has happened. Once again, the can has been kicked down the road. So we're kind of back to the whole trade war taco situation. EU will delay planned U.S. tariffs for 6 months to allow for trade talks. So that's quite the window. I would hope that this one doesn't have to get extended. You would hope within 6 months that they do get this all figured out. The European Union will suspend its planned countermeasures to President Donald Trump's tariffs, which were set to take effect on Thursday. The suspension marks a concession from the 27-member bloc, which is among the United States' largest trading partners. And actually very, very important in the world of pharmaceuticals, which is, if you're trading the pharmaceutical industry, you might want to pay even more attention to this deal. More specifically, Swiss President, Economy Minister to fly to the U.S. for talks. So this is something that kind of came out of surprise end of last week, over the weekend, leading to right now. I believe it's a 39% tariff on Switzerland, and everyone's already making jokes about you can't buy your watches anymore. Well, to the country of Switzerland, it's a very, very big deal for them. So as you can imagine, they're trying to get this taken care of as soon as possible. India calls out EU and U.S. on trade with Russia after Trump threatens steeper tariffs on New Delhi. This is probably, as of right now, the most tense situation, because obviously it's involving Russia, and more specifically who is buying and who is selling oil to who. And then Trump doesn't like the fact that on the oil trade, Russia and India are partners, especially with Russia and Ukraine and that conflict still going on, even though the Trump administration has been doing a lot to try to quell what's going on over there. So he's using it as a chip, I suppose, a point of leverage of, hey, we're going to jack up the tariffs on India, which once again is one of the many countries that was kind of unfair to us in our trade deal. So he has no issues coming in even harder and basically saying, hey, it's going to stay here until you do the really energy trade, or I should say lack thereof, with Russia that he wants to, in a certain way, from a military standpoint too, not really cripple them, but obviously it would not be beneficial from a military standpoint, from a financial standpoint. So the trade war is now becoming a little bit more complicated because it's being a leverage tool in kind of war with India being the intermediary. So this is probably right now the hottest trade war sub narrative, if you will. So definitely pay attention to it. I wouldn't like many of these other ones that we see time and time again, the other country folds, because when it comes down to it right now, the U.S. is the biggest economy. It's the most powerful economy. It's the biggest military. It's the most powerful military. We are the global custodian, if you will. And this is all a roundabout way of saying we have all the chips. So I would guess that why would this deal be any different than the other ones, where basically the other country, the non-US country, ends up just proverbially bending the knee, and then we kind of get exactly what we want. So I think it's a matter of time. It's more of a question of how much time is that time going to be. More specifically, with respect to today exactly, Tuesday, August the 5th at 9:45 and 10 a.m., we're going to get some PMI and price data numbers for the month of July. So once again, when it comes to the overall market, don't be surprised. A little bit of a jolt at, once again, 9:45, 10 a.m. Tomorrow, we're going to get the 10-year note auction. And then on Thursday, we're going to get the 30-year bond auction. Don't forget about that. Also, don't forget, we are still in earnings season. So the big ones last night, Palantir was the main one. And then HIMS/HERS, it's just ticker symbol HIMS. They reported. So we're going to go over that. But then I also want you to know this morning, Pfizer, Caterpillar, BP. Today, after the market closes, we get more semiconductor names, AMD, Supermicro. So they're not the biggest semiconductors. That's basically NVIDIA followed by Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO, but still impactful. I know there's a lot of people in chat paying attention to AMD and SMCI. So pay attention to those. And then also, we're hearing from Snapchat, Lucid, Upstart, Rivian, so you might want to pay attention to those. Tomorrow, Uber, Shopify, Disney, McDonald's, IONQ. I know some of you are paying attention to that, DraftKings, and then later on. But you get the point. We're still in earnings season. Take a screenshot of all of this. I don't want you guys to miss out, especially if you're individually trading some of those names. Palantir reports sales up 48%, cites astonishing AI impact. Folks, Palantir, it's the king. It's the king. If you've basically been a person, you know what? I'm going to take all my money. I'm going to put 50% in Palantir and 50% NVIDIA. If you picked those two stocks, those are the kings of the market right now. Palantir, amazing. NVIDIA, amazing. Obviously, we're more so focusing on Palantir, but just the numbers are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I very much hope all of you listening to this right now got at least a little bit of the pie, even a little bit of the crumbs on the Palantir cake, because man, oh man, it just does not stop. Palantir tops $1 billion in revenue for the first time, boosts guidance. Palantir topped Wall Street estimates and hiked its full year guidance due to the artificial intelligence boom. I hope you're noticing a trend that the people who've been making money, it's in one way or another related to AI, whether it's upstream, downstream. It's the people selling the shovels, making the shovels, using the shovels, taking pictures of the shovels. I don't care. But as long as you're in on this gold rush related to AI, you've been making some sort of money. You've been making some sort of money. And right now, all the initial numbers are suggesting that the party isn't slowing down anytime soon. Now, I do want you to know, eventually the parties end, folks. There's never, ever been a time in market history where the party goes on endlessly. So don't think that this is something that's just repeatable week in, week out, month in, month out, day in, day out, like that type of thing. It's going to change, but for right now, it feels like it's pretty strong. Hang on one second. All right, here we go. This guy. All right, cool. Just had to fix something. Pfizer hikes 2025 profit outlook on cost cuts, strong quarterly results. So Pfizer, I'm not the biggest pharmaceutical player. I know some of you are, and also it is just a very large company. So I wanted to cover this. But when it comes to the world of pharmaceuticals and biotech, honestly, not only am I from a knowledge base out of my depths, it's also just something that I don't find that fun to trade or invest in. I think there's better opportunities elsewhere, but wanted to cover it. Also in that similar vein, HIMS and HERS stocks falls 10% on revenue miss. Not just a little revenue miss, a huge revenue miss relative to what the world thought it was going to be. This stock has a lot of range, a lot of volatility. For a while there, I was hearing some murmurs of this, of being the next thing for what that we all got to get in on. And right now it's just getting absolutely pummeled. So pay attention to that. All right. Now, outside of the world of earnings, there is some interesting other news. OpenAI's ChatGPT to hit 700 million weekly users, up 4x from last year. Even though you can't get direct investment into this unless you have access to the private markets, remember, Microsoft, MSFT, has a big chunk of OpenAI. So right now, I'm just showing you more info that AI is crushing it. OpenAI is one of the major players leading the way. That is huge. 700 million weekly users. Absolutely nuts. Taiwan arrests 6 in probe of TSMC chip technology leak. A little bit of corporate espionage going on. World's largest chip maker, TSMC, says it has discovered potential trade secret leaks. So if you're noticing some weird movement on that particular ticker this morning, I guess some of their secrets ain't so secret. So just wanted you guys to know about that. Once again, still all related to the world of AI in one way or another. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattcohrs.locals.com. It's always been free, always will be free. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for the earnings, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events of the week, and then most useful is the seasonality of each day. Yesterday, Monday, August the 4th, seasonally was a bearish day. Obviously, we bucked that trend yesterday. The reason I'm highlighting that is because please remember, it is not the end all be all. When I say something is bullish or bearish, look at the odds associated with it. There was a 44% chance that the bulls win, not that far off from 50. Obviously, the recent couple years have been a bit steep, so I think it even colored my own bias. But once again, remember, let's just come back to the pure math, and I want you guys to know that technically today still does favor the bears. But once again, the bulls have won it 48% of the time, not that far off from 50-50. This is a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market. The fact that it's down means it would have paid to be a bear. But once again, this is not gospel. In fact, I'm giving you the odds right there. The odds are literally right there. For the remainder of this week, leaning bullish, leaning bullish, leaning bullish. So I just wanted you guys to all know that from a seasonality standpoint. And then that brings us to kind of the larger picture. We had kind of a crazy vol spasm on Friday, August the 1st, to kick off the month. And then right away, it got this push back to the upside. This, in my book, is very much a dangerous area in terms of should you be bullish, should you be bearish. It's been bullish for a while. And then out of nowhere, all the metrics went very bearish on Friday just to lead us to a pop yesterday. So it's one of two stories. This is either a crazy bear trap or this is a crazy bull trap. And I'm not the person to tell you, oh, I definitively know what it is, because no one on this planet does. All I could tell you is, well, we went from an all-time high to a bearish engulfing candle to a vol spasm that led to a 2% drop. And then we just got a rebound to clean up the chart. So is this just a basic clean up the chart upside gap fill and then we puke? Or are people saying, no, the market's still strong. I'm liking what's going on with earnings. It's time to buy this dip and keep it going higher. Folks, I'm going to be honest here. This could easily break either way. And with that, I know it's not that useful for me to say, oh, wow, it could go up or could go down. Like, you're fair to say, how is that useful? It's useful in the sense that you can have an asymmetric opportunity. As long as you start to see this break one way or the other, your risk could be far smaller than your reward. So it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong on the first or second one. It matters, do you catch the next trend? Because if you're only taking a small paper cut hit, but then you get to ride the entire trend, it's very asymmetric in terms of the reward side, which is obviously going to be very favorable for you. So just wait for that. Wait to see if we're getting that follow through or if we're going to end up breaking down. Now, to put that in context of today, I don't know if we're actually going to be getting that information today specifically, because Captain Condor is back. There's quite a bit of positive gamma. You could see Captain Condor, the call credit spread was at 6.355. Write that down. And all the way down here, the put credit spread at 6.295. You can see there's quite a bit of purple on the chart. That's a lot of positive gamma. A lot of positive gamma, giant Captain Condor position. It's an iron condor and it totals 11,000 on the call and on the put side. So this might end up becoming like a muted lower vol day. Now, the odds of that are higher, but in the rare opportunity that we actually break one of these, well, then that's when you actually get to see some exciting moves. So high statistical chance of nothing special, but if we get into the low statistical chance of a breakout or a breakdown, that's when you get that exciting opportunity. So I just wanted to point out that Captain Condor is back and everyone should be prepared for that. And on that note, am I too late? No, okay. Nothing's traded yet, as you can see on the screen right now. I almost missed it, but I want to see if I could take advantage of what time is it? Am I behind? What time are we at right now? What time is it? Oh, I still have about 30 seconds. All right. So as we're waiting for market open, I just wanted to show you that I was good. I didn't break any of my rules. No pre-market trading. I'm trying to let Skynet lead the way for me. If you don't know what Skynet is a collection of my own trading systems. It's a portfolio of trading systems I have personally created. And it was a real rough start about a week and a half ago, but every single day I'm making small improvements where it's getting better and better and better and basically acting exactly how it should. I just want to make sure I turned on all these strategies. Okay, it looks like I did. And let's see how today really plays out.
Order submitted.
What are we doing?
Target filled.
Hell yeah. Well, that was easy. That was easy. 90, 90, 90, 90, 72, 72, 72, 75, 75, 75. I love it. I love it when I come out of the gate and it does exactly what it should. Exactly. Trek says Skynet sucks. Well, say that to Skynet, who just made me some money. Say that to Skynet there, brother. Oh, wow. This is turning into quite a bit of selling. All right. Well, that did not do what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to just take that a second trade on this bar, and it didn't for some reason. This bar right here, right before 9:30, it was supposed to go short there. It didn't. And hey, I would rather it skip a trade rather than take an extra trade that it shouldn't have taken. So I need to mark that down to figure out why. But it should have went short there.
Order submitted. Target filled.
Which one was that? Okay, so it skipped trade 2 today. So it did trade 1, skip trade 2 erroneously, but then went to trade 3 and trade 3 worked. So is it exactly where I need it? No, not really. But hey, we're getting somewhere. Oh, it's doing this same thing where it thinks it's in a position, but as you could see, it is not. Does that mean these are not going to trade? I don't know how to fix this because this isn't a strategy thing. So let me explain what's going on here. This account, 87. As you can see, great. No, whatever. Traded 1, traded 2. You can see if I go to 88, applying the exact same code, the exact same strategies, it thinks it's still in a position. So it never took that second trade because apparently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them think they are still actively in a trade, which clearly they are not. And you can tell that because all the unrealized P&L is basically nothing. It's nada. So that's why the second one didn't trade, and that's why the third one didn't trade. Well, actually, no, the second one didn't trade for a different reason. Yeah, but you could see some of these took that second trade while other ones didn't because it thinks it's still in a position. So, I mean, I know what I could do for the first fix, like the intraday fix here, is I could just disconnect and then reconnect the data, and I'll show you this. As soon as I do it, there's going to be no issue. This is like if you're battling the same problem, there's no clear all. It's not a clear all because it's not in a position. You can't flatten all or anything like that because then that would trigger a trade. See, all I did was disconnect, reconnect. Hang on, let's wait for it. And look, all I did was disconnect, reconnect, and look at now no positions. So that's what I'm saying. It's not, unfortunately, it is. It's not a code problem. This is now like a data issue, which is uniquely frustrating. Uniquely frustrating, I might add. So let's re-enable these guys. Let's re-enable these guys. Okay, so those are back to exactly where it should be. And now the next trade will be fine because obviously one of my sanity checks is to ensure that it's not in a position. But you could see here, all I did was disconnect, reconnect, and then it said, oh, great. But unfortunately, it did cause me to miss out on some money because some of these traded twice. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them did not. And it was 9 times 9. So that cost me $810. It cost me $800 for that strategy to not trade. even though it traded on the other accounts. And I cannot clarify this enough. The exact same code, the exact same strategy applied just to a different account. That was the only difference. Same code, same strategy, no difference. Literally just applying that logic to a different account, and be something with Rhythmic, it just didn't fire. And maybe it is just a Rhythmic issue. Maybe I need to switch them all to Tradeovate, and then that would fix it. So whatever, I guess it is what it is. But I'm kind of paying attention. Okay, we have a little bit of a break before it trades again, so let's see what else is going on. All right, so that's our market open. A little bit of a puke out of the gate. We are coming basically to the high and the closing value of yesterday. As I always do, I recommend, especially for my day traders in here, my scalp traders, know those key levels. Know the previous trading sessions, high, low, close, the previous like weeks, high, low, and close. Those are all key levels that time and time again, you're going to see the market react to. I'm not necessarily saying that they are bullish or bearish or anything like that. I'm just saying the market commonly reacts to them, so you should be paying attention. The Qs just got their downside gap fill perfectly to the cent. The SPY has not yet. The SPY missed it. Oh, wait, no. It did perfectly hit it. So both the SPY and the Qs, the SPY did it in minute 1, the Qs did it in minute 2, both perfectly got their downside gap fill. Can the same be said for the SPX? No, it can't. So there's still a gap in the chart. When I say a gap, there's a little gap between today's low value and yesterday's high value. So like, I mean, the gap, that's why it's called a gap fill trade, because there's a literal gap right where my cursor is. There's a gap between today's low and yesterday's high. And there's a lot of thoughts and reasons on why gaps are commonly filled, but it doesn't really matter. What matters to all of you is the fact that that is a common trade that people do. And if enough people do it, it very quickly becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then as it becomes more of a self-fulfilling prophecy, even more people start trading it, which just then reinforces the quality of that trade. So even though the SPY and the Qs have technically already gotten their downside gap fill, I'm still watching for this one on the SPX, the actual S&P 500, down to 6330.69. That is yesterday's high value. So there is a gap in the chart. There's actually right now on the daily chart, multiple gaps on the chart. But this is obviously the most closest. This is the closest one because we're literally right at it. And it was created between yesterday's high and today's open. Hey, Matt, I know you were looking at penny stocks yesterday. I found one, TAWNF. Not sure if you can trade on it on your platform, but it's the Airways and just came out of bankruptcy. Yeah, the fact that it has the 5 letters tells me something's messed up. So when a ticker symbol has 5 letters, generally if it ends in a Q, that's a bankruptcy issue. 5, that means that it's going to be on the OTC pink slips. And that's a whole different market that is complete trash. Like absolute trash. And even you're saying it just came out of bankruptcy, but it's not even trading on a normal exchange like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. And you could tell that because it has the 5 tickers. My suggestion would be avoid it at all costs. And if for some reason you're a degenerate who can't avoid it at all costs, I would be willing to bet that the edge for those is really just to be short. To be long on any of those, that would be a really, really, really dumb play in my estimation. You might have to look into NinjaScript unmanaged mode to fix it. Sometimes the update functions are called in a different order with rhythmic. It's complicated and annoying, but fixable. Once again, it's nothing to do with the strategy. The strategy is working properly. It's the fact that Rhythmic thinks the position's still live in one part, but obviously not in the other. We all saw those trades close out. We all saw the trades close out. You even saw that my unrealized P&L went down to 0 because there was no trade, but yet on the chart, it thought it was still in a trade. That's the problem. It's not a code problem. Well, it's a code problem somewhere. It's just not a strategy code problem. Obviously, it can't make sense when you're on Ninja and when the chart thinks you're still in a position, but then you come to your position panel, it thinks you're in a position. You come to your account panel, but then your account thinks it's closed out. That doesn't make sense. How in the world can it think you're in a position, even show it on your chart, but then when you come to your accounts, there's no unrealized P&L? It's definitely on the data provider side and the account management side, not on my individual. Like, my individual strategy can't be the thing that tells whatever the chart, the account panel, and the unrealized panel that, hey, you guys should all be the same. Like, that's not a strategy error inherently. Is it possible that Apex is weighing the scales? No, because once again, it knows it closes out. It would be weighing the scales if it didn't actually close it out, and that could get like really fucked up. But no, like, the trade is locked in, and like I could even see it right here. So like the moment it happened on my Rhythmic over here, good, locked in all that money, like good to go. Like, it had the registered P&L, it gave it to me, like it knows that it's all good. So on that side, it's good. Like it is locking in the trade for me and crediting me for that trade. So I would say it'd be a little bit more messed up if for some reason the trade locked in but didn't credit it for you. I would find that to obviously be a little bit weird. But the fact that it's like, nope, here's your money, then I'm stoked with that. I have a feeling it has something to do with, I guess, I would say that it's going to be more of a Rhythmic issue, the data provider, and just like how they're not that good. To be fair, all those issues we just saw, it did not happen on any of the Tradeovate ones. It only, the issue that I've seen this morning, it's only being applied to, and maybe this is just coincidence, but I don't know. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. It did not happen to any of the Tradeovate ones. When I say Tradeovate and Rhythmic, just so you guys know, I'm talking about who's providing the data. And when I say the data, I mean like the actual data of like the ticks going up, going down, buying, selling, that type of a thing. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's not. But the issues thus far this morning is only on the accounts that had its data provided by Rhythmic, not from the ones on Tradeovate. So maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe. But then how would I... That kind of sucks because I don't want to just go buy other accounts to buy them just to switch them to Tradeovate. I wonder if they would let me switch them to Tradeovate. Maybe a forum post laying out every detail of what's happening is the way they go. They can be very helpful with stuff like this. No, dude. Do you know how many times I've posted on that forum? They don't do shit, man. Whether you reach out to the engineering team at Rhythmic, whether you do it at Ninja, they are not helpful at all. I would say the Ninja side is a bit more helpful, but I could already tell you they're going to say it's not an us problem. I could, I'll try it, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I have a feeling that Rhythmic is horrible to work with. They just, even go to their website. It's a website seemingly built in like the fucking 80s. But on a comparison, Ninja is more helpful for sure. But I have a feeling that they're going to even say this one's out of their hands, which I don't know. I'll try it. Like I said, I would love to be pleasantly surprised today. That would make my life feel a lot better. They don't let you switch, unfortunately. Yeah, I've heard that. I've read that. And that's going to be frustrating. That's going to be frustrating. If we really dive into it, though, and think about the severity of this particular problem, it's actually not that bad, though, because it just means certain trades aren't taken. Submitted. Like I said, it'd be way worse if trades were taken. So right here, because I disconnected and reconnected, all the trades are back to where they should be. What time is it? 9:43. What fucking trade is this? TL. Interesting. But once again, just to show you, all the accounts are back into having a position as they should have. And so it was a quick fix. It was just disconnect and reconnect, and then everything got squared up and it realized it wasn't in a position. Well, I got myself into a weird pickle where we have a data drop come out in how many minutes? In like literally a minute. This trade, I anticipated this trade to fire off at either 9:38 or 9:40 is when I thought this trade was going to fire off on this first push over here. The fact that it's firing off this close to the report, I don't like that. So that's another note for me, that I want these things to disable and not run at all. Oddly enough, I'm complaining about things not running, and then I kind of wish this is one of the ones that didn't run, because I don't want to take on the data drop like event risk. In my opinion, you have a 50-50 shot. So I'm not necessarily the most fond of that. So that's another note for me of basically a disable switch if, I don't know, within 5 minutes of a data drop. Maybe I'll get lucky though.
Target filled.
Yeah, I got lucky. And see, sometimes that's trading. Sometimes you just get lucky. Like, I don't know. And see, remember that guy who was like arguing with me about SoFi? Of like, no, it was a good trade because I made money. Folks, I just showed you a real-time example of a bad trade, a bad decision that ended up making money. So like, you really have to divorce those things in your mind. Did I make money? Yes. Does that make it a good trade? No. As much as I harped on that one guy for being a fucking dipshit, like that, I guess, opinion, that statement is the exact same with what just happened to me. If this was a better code, which I thought it was going to run earlier, like I said, either at 38 or 40, but it ran at 43, we got a data report at 95. As much as this popped in my favor and I made money, it could have gone the other way. So, like, you see this time and time again in the world of retail trading. And what you see over and over again is people think, ha, I'm right. I made money. I made a good decision. And then simultaneously, let's say you make a good decision and lose money. They're like, no, like it can't be a good decision because you lost money. You suck. You don't know what you're talking about. That's like, it's such a bad mindset. Right here, that was a real-time example of making money even though it was a poor trade. And the reason it was a poor trade was because that was a binary event. As much as it popped up in my favor, it easily could have dumped, and then I could have lost all my accounts. If you trade with that mindset time and time again, it's only a matter of time before you blow out, because eventually you're going to find your bad beat. Like, eventually you're going to find your bad beat. And that's exactly here. Like, I got lucky and the bad beat didn't come this time around. But if you were to do that exact same trade time and time again, eventually you lose all your money. Eventually you lose all of it. So please keep that in mind going forward. And as much as I'll say something and give you guys my opinion, if you're doing something stupid, I'll obviously be transparent enough to let you guys know when I have something that was dumb. Did I get lucky? Of course I did. Of course. And hey, sometimes one of my favorite sayings in the market is I'd rather be lucky than skillful, because there is an aspect of luck to this particular game. Without a doubt, there's an aspect of luck. So keep that in mind. It's a game of time and time, just making the right decisions. That's what you need to do. Make the right decisions, and eventually you're going to see your P&L start to stumble up and up and up. Are you going to win every trade? No, you're not going to win every trade. There's no such person on this planet that wins every trade. It just does not exist. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. It just does not work that way. You do stupid shit all the time. Yeah, but I'm also in the position to be able to afford that. So I don't know. Was that your big gotcha statement? That was your massive gotcha statement? Yeah, I'm in a life position where I can afford to do stupid stuff. Some people are, some people aren't. I don't know. Sometimes, and that changes. It goes up, it goes down. I don't know. That was the big one. And he can't? No. See, the difference is knowing actively if you're doing something stupid or not to be able to control the risk. It's a completely different thing. You gonna mute me too? LOL, if you're asking, I can. Sure, why not? Just because you asked so politely. No problem. Duh. Sure. Easy. What a dumb fucking thing. Are you gonna like asking to get muted? Like, all right. Like it's I love it. Oh, I love it. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be so nice about it, I guess so. Like, what's crazy about it is it's like funny for me in the moment, and then I don't care about it anymore, but like there you are. Now you can't talk at all. Man, super easy. All you have to do is ask, folks. More than willing to help you out. What a dipshit. I love it. I mean, by my own judgment, I don't think that was mute worthy, but I guess I guess by your own admission, if it is, dude, have at it, dude. Don't let me get in your way. Oh, people on the internet are crazy. People on the internet are crazy. I do want to remind you, even though we're getting a little bit of a pop, yes, we see higher highs, we see higher lows. Minute one was some profit taking, but from right there, we had higher highs and higher lows. Please be mindful that we did not get the downside gap fill. This is going to be a natural magnet. We're not even 20 minutes into the trading day. This is not a worthwhile pump to chase because the odds of us coming back down to 6330.69 exactly is very, very high. Is it a guarantee? No. But if you're like, no, dude, I want to like rip this to the bullish side. Like I'm going to swing this for the rest of the day. I'm buying my 0 DTE calls right now. Like the odds of this getting hit are just very high. Not a guarantee, but it's something you should have in mind. I think Matt kind of missed the point. I don't think I did. Fucking dipshit being a dipshit, saying to mute him. Like, I'm more than happy to oblige. Like, you have to understand, there's other people here trying to like actively learn about trading. So in a certain sense, I need to protect the community from people actively telling other people to do stupid things. It's not like, I don't know. I don't really give a shit about like banning someone for like a political opinion, this, that, or the other thing. But at a certain point, you have to respect that other people here are putting their hard-earned money on the line. So when someone is actively lying and they know they're lying and they're presenting these ideas that are financially dangerous, such as literally lying about what? Oh, I went short $75,000 of what was it? SoFi? No, first of all, they didn't. Second of all, if they did, they're still lying, but they also didn't. But then to try to get other people to follow in on that trade, which was from all objective measures, a bad thing. It's one thing if you're like, hey, I'm degenerate. I'm doing something stupid. We're going to have a fun time. Hey, that's fine. Whatever. We've all gambled. We've all been to the casino. Have at it. Whatever. But when you're trying to present it as if you actually know something about the market and are telling other people to follow your steps because you are quote unquote good at this and are quote unquote profitable, and I'm doing a lot of quotes because this person was obviously a lying scumbag, that's dangerous to other people. And I think the adults in here, we understand the lines. Like, yeah, we all get degeneracy. And generally when degenerates are talking, they're like, yo, YOLO, I'm letting it rip. Let's see how it plays out. And you have some lulls about it. It's very, very different when you're trying to get other people to follow you. When, first of all, you're lying about your own position. And second of all, you're presenting it as if it's like well-founded trading advice. That's a big, big difference. I really don't care what you say to me. I also don't care about most opinions. I do care about people attempting to give other people financial advice that is actively bad, because that's then just very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. Should that be plural? Should what be plural? A mute orgy. I don't know what that is, but be careful and use protection. Be careful and use protection. All right. I need to manage some of my positions because I'm in a bit of a coinkydink on the SPY, the Qs, and Tesla right now. Tesla's green. Coin's down 1.9% today. Bitcoin's down 0.6. Coin's getting kind of rocked, folks. And actually, it's down 1.9 and it's recovered. Large gap all the way up to, what, 378 or something like that, whatever this low is all the way back here. What are the big guys doing today? Big guys bought all day yesterday. That is definitely part of the reason of why this ripped so much. Huge rip right there. They're net buyers so far today, but minuscule amount. Minuscule. Dude, once again, it thinks I'm in a fucking position. I don't know. See, this is exactly what I don't understand at all. So right here. So see how I'm in no position, but then if I switch over to this account, it does in fact think I'm in a position. Positions thinks I'm here. Go to account. Nope. Thinks I'm completely closed out. There is no, like, they're not syncing or something. All right, let's just, should I just, is it about to trade though? Now I really don't know what to do because how many, and they're all rhythmic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the 6th time, or these are another 6 accounts, the 2nd time today that it was clearly a rhythmic issue. Clearly a rhythmic issue. I wonder, could I get away with Tradeovate being the lead account? A Tradeovate account and then following on, like, just all these Apex ones follow. Can you code a connection No, you can't do that. 2 different independent systems. So why the fuck, like, it literally, okay, this is how crazy it is. And this is why I don't necessarily know if it's a rhythmic issue, because it thinks I'm live on 6 accounts here. But look at all of these, it thinks it's closed out. If you're in an active position, there's no P&L. This is blank. So rhythmic, right? It's something about the connection between rhythmic and ninja, because rhythmic independently has locked in these trades. It does not think I'm in a position. Part of ninja also thinks I'm not in a position right here, unrealized, nothing. But then another part of ninja does. So it's something about the bridge to rhythmic and ninja that's getting messed up, because independently, rhythmic knows I'm closed out. It knows I have no position. Part of ninja knows I'm closed out and I have no position, the accounts part. But then I come over to positions and it thinks I am. And when you're like this, and sometimes you panic, you're like, oh, I got to trade out. Since you're flat, when you take the opposite trade, it actually then puts you into a real position, which that in itself is pretty crazy. And just to show you right here, position, it thinks I'm in 6. I'll show you once again, and this is, I don't know, just to help other people out that might be having the same issue. When I disconnect and reconnect, which I don't even need to disconnect from the Tradeovate ones, but here, let's reconnect. They're going to disappear. It's going to square up. So it's on the reestablishment. It's resyncing, and it's like, oh, you're not in a position. And that actually cost me quite a bit of money when I was first attempting to figure it out. Okay. Oh, and just to show you right there, no positions. So that's a fun problem to have, huh, kids? Huh, campers? That is a fun one to have. Okay, let's see what's going on. Whatever. I can't really complain that much. I mean, I'm still up money on the day. These Apex ones are lagging behind. So each one about 250, but when you have that on 28 accounts, like I said, not a bad day. Not far away. Maybe by tomorrow, if everything goes well, I'll be crossing 52,000 on all these accounts. They're all pretty much in the high 50 ones right now. And then the funding ticks ones are also up about 1.7K, but their base starting fee was 50. So these ones I'll upgrade at 53. These ones I'll also upgrade at 53. These ones I can take out money at 106. So the funding ticks ones, they have an opportunity where you actually don't have to do the eval. You could go straight to funded. And I did the 100K accounts just so I have a little bit more leeway. And unfortunately, I'm still a good distance away from being able to take out money on these. I think I need to get up to 106. 106. 106. All right. Where are we here? We still haven't gotten that downside gap fill. Hey, I mean, like I said, I'm not your mom. do what you want, do what you think is appropriate. But personally, I would not be going for a long position until I see this downside gap filled, just because that's going to be a natural magnet with very, very high odds. Like we're talking over 70, 80% accuracy of getting this downside gap filled, especially when we're in such a low quintile. Actually, Sean, I don't know if you're in chat right now, but he probably has the odds right on his computer. They're on, I need to find my notebook, but this actually might be over 85% chance that we hit this today. So if you're looking for a long and you know there's such a high chance of hitting this, like I would say the smart move is literally just to wait to see how that plays out. Actually, we got that gap too. So maybe a potential shoulder, head, shoulder, maybe shoulder, head, shoulder. The NASDAQ is looking quite a bit stronger. That's just higher. Well, technically same lows, lower highs right here, but the SPY actually came further while the Qs are holding up. Here's a look at the flow.
Order submitted.
What the fuck?
Order submitted. Target
What the
filled.
fuck is going on? Dude, shit. All right, they're all closed out at least. I can't freak out. I hope they're all closed out. All right, somehow I made money there. Way more money than I expected. Dude, what is going on? How did this one just jump up to 945? What the fuck is happening? 945? $810? And then all the way down to 180. So did these ones just not even trade at all? Yeah, it literally, these didn't even trade again. Oh. So the Apex, dude, it's the same thing. I'm having specific issues with Apex. None of the Apex ones traded. Yeah. See, there's no trades on the chart. None of these traded there. But then over here, that traded, that traded, that traded. Like, everyone traded but Apex. So, I mean, I'm just using the evidence I have in front of me, and it does seem to be more of like a data connection issue, that some of these are working with the Tradeovate data, but not working with the rhythmic data. What was that issue? I kind of wish I went back and I could. What the fuck was that problem? I'm afraid to turn this strategy on right now. Oh, no, I'm not. Maybe I should be. If I turn this on, is it going to freak out? Okay, no, it did not freak out. All right. So I turned on a whole new strategy. I want to see if it's going to produce the same issue, because then I would at least have one more data point to go off of. So everything else is turned off. Okay. I have one more strategy that's on, and things have gone fucking haywire on me today. I think everyone should be up. This is the right amount. I should be up about 405 per account right now. For some reason, some are higher. This got a lot of slippage in my favor, like almost doubling up. And then other ones have literally missed 3 trades today for whatever fucking reason. And my best guess it seems like the issue is specifically very specific to the rhythmic data. At least that's how it seems. We'll find out. We'll find out. Did we get the downside gap fill? We did. Okay. So if you want to go long, at least you don't have to worry about that anymore. But on the flip side, we just took out key levels, and I'm not really seeing much of a bounce back. With respect to options flow, the Mag 7 ripped until about 10, and then like we've seen yesterday and also the past couple days, past couple weeks, these big flips at 10 a.m. Here, I'll show you the S&P 500 options flow. Same thing. It flipped at 9:48. So generally, your life is going to be easier trading with the big guys. And right now, the big guys went from bullish to bearish. So you might want to be mindful of that. The big guys are still slight net buyers, but baby compared to yesterday. Babies compared to yesterday. Not the time to chase. Did the NDX actually get its downside gap fill? That might be something to consider, folks. NDX. I don't think it did. No, it didn't. It didn't. So there's still a downside gap fill in the NASDAQ 100. So this whole time when I was like, yo, like just be careful, there's that gap in SPX. In NDX, there is as well, down to 23,191. Today's low was 92.45. So it missed it by a point. So that's basically, don't be surprised if the Qs come right back down to their intraday low and the SPY is getting clocked currently. And we are now in the transition zone. Remember, this white box is the 0 DTE, gamma, and delta transition zone. And it basically just, think of it as choppy price action, but really think about it as it changes on how the market makers are going to have to hedge their books. Above it, they're going to be a little bit more supportive. Below it, they're going to be a little less supportive. So this is that transition zone. And it also just happens to align with a lot of the chop from yesterday. If this does not hold, look for a push to 6,300. Not only is that a key technical level, it's a key psychological level, but today it is just above the put credit spread side of the iron condor from that Captain Condor position. So right here, I just want to point out, like you can see this. Can you actually see it? Or is my head blocking it? Here, let me go over here. Big positive gamma node right there, 6,300. You have 6,295. So quite a bit of action right there. So it's kind of an if-then statement. If this doesn't hold, then I'm looking for that sell-off. But as of right now, you do have, I guess, the first tranche of buyers attempting to come in, shoulder, head, shoulder, leading to a vomit. You could have taken, I don't know, this trend line switch, higher highs and higher lows to lower highs, broke the low, puked. 4 minutes later, really puked. Really, really puked. And I'm going to be honest with you. I am a little bit nervous about what in the world is about to happen with my stuff. I am a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous. We'll see. We'll see if this is actual dip to be bought. The big guys are baby slight buyers. The flow is maybe trying to pick up a little bit. We got a hit, but will it be enough? And then the S&P 500, pretty bullish to pretty bearish to a little bit of an intermediate bounce. Is this a dead cat bounce or a real reversion? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Let's see. The daily chart is a really tough one. Bearish engulfing, gap down, puke, push to the upside, gets the fill. Is this just cleaning up the chart and then we puke? Or is this a legit recovery and people just bought this dip and then we ride it back up? If anyone's telling you they definitively know where this is going to go, tell them to take a fucking hike, because honestly, no one knows. From a momentum perspective, the 5-minute, 10-minute, 4-hour, and now the 30-minute are all bearish. All of them are below their 50 EMA. 5-minute, 10-minute, 4-hour. The 30-minute and the 4-hour on the NASDAQ is holding, but that's going to change if we push the opening low. That will change if we push the opening low. All right, we have some alerts set up so we don't miss anything. I have this amazing ability to lose 90% or more of my investment. Follow for tips. What was this on? Oh, this guy. I've created a 100% win rate model. Yes, 100%. No, you didn't. You didn't. Doesn't exist. What do you think of Tesla's movement yesterday and this morning? Think of the movement? It just didn't break down. It's almost broke down, didn't break down, and it's just in the overall consolidation. I don't like. I guess my thoughts are kind of like almost like there's just nothing special going on with it. It looked interesting on Friday when it was trying to break down and hit this low, but then got saved yesterday, and today's indecisive, maybe slightly bullish. It did push a new high, but we're literally just in a consolidation zone. The bearish side of EMA. But I don't think I have any like specialty thoughts or anything like that. Like it's a lot of nothing right now, which I should clarify is very common in the month of August. Very common. Bo, there's this guy on YouTube claims 100% win rate if you join his degenerate Discord. Well, Matt, conceptually, do you think a 0 win rate or 100% win rate is easier to achieve through experiment? Obviously 0. Like you're just betting on nothing happening. I don't know. Bet every single day on the S&P 500 going up 100%. Not going to happen. Bet every single day on the S&P 500 going down 100%. That one's pretty obvious. Honestly, like, even though I'm making fun of that guy because like he thinks he's like something special, there are theoretical systems that do have 100% win rate. If you go long on the NASDAQ futures market every single morning with $100,000 drawdown and you're just going for $25 in profit, you would have never lost that bet. Like technically that is a 100% win rate model. Every single day at market open, you go long one NQ contract. You're going for 4 ticks, 1 points, $20. If you are willing to risk 50 grand, technically you would have never lost that bet because we're always trending up and up and up and we've hit a new all-time high. So like, I mean, technically that is 100% win rate system. Now, is it worthwhile for you to do that? Is the risk reward worth it? No, not really. But like, there's no point in history that you would have ever hit the risk, technically. So like, could we create 0 and 100% systems? Yeah, but remember, they're not that special because you could just invert the system and then you'd be in the other bucket. So like, for example, what I just pitched of going for 1 point, risking $50,000. If you invert it and you go for $50,000 and you're only risking 1 point, well, you would have never gotten the 50 grand. So whether you're talking about 0, 100, you just invert it and you're going to have the exact opposite. And it looks like we are going for that downside gap fill on NDX. Palantir is holding up, even though we're seeing a pretty evident shoulder head shoulder situation. Even though we're seeing a pretty evident shoulder head shoulder. Shoulder head shoulder. Qs are, I think, maybe about to vomit here. What's your take on focusing trades only on TQQ, SQQ, and nothing else? Would you do it? Why? If yes, how? No, I wouldn't. You should focus on QQQ, and then if you get good enough, then you can focus on the leverage ones. But I wouldn't focus on the leverage ones until you prove to yourself that you have a winning system. No way. Like, I would want to see the exact empirical evidence that you are winning before you go to leverage. Let's see what Bookmap has to say. Okay, so according to Bookmap, there are a lot of buyers sitting at 23,300. 23,300. What is the low of the day? Does anyone know off the top of their head? What is the low? What is the low? It's 303.5. So right here where you see this orange block, that is the current intraday low. And then there's a lot of sitting buy orders at 300 flat. Lot of sitting buy orders at 300 flat. Feels like this is going to be a natural magnet area that the market kind of wants to examine, the supply and demand. We are below VWAP. We are below the point of control. That's not so good. The Mag 7 is grinding down, but nothing too special. It's not vomiting down. The NASDAQ is kind of vomiting down, and the S&P 500 is kind of vomiting down. So pause me if you've heard this story before, but the Mag 7's doing fine, and a lot of other things are looking a little bit rough. Looking a little bit rough. I'm wondering if we're actually going to get this. I'm kind of watching this right here. This is the downside gap fill, this blue line. Yesterday's high is right there. We got the high pretty much right at market close yesterday. And you could see that we have a little bit of a wick. Little bit of a wick. Today's low, not quite overlapping or tagging 23191. So I have a sneaky suspicion that if the bulls have a shot today, it's not going to come until we clean up the market on NDX the exact same way we did on SPX over here at 10 a.m. And obviously, there was an announcement at 10 a.m. that clearly did not go well for the ISM non-manufacturing PMI and prices. We got that dump, and then it kind of had a consolidation bar, and then it puked right into this consolidation zone. So we're going to see. But I could say that, well, how is this guy looking? This guy's not sweating too bad. I think this is a really dumb play today to do this tight of an iron condor. But hey, I'm not the one who did that trade. We're kind of getting close. But no cigar quite yet. No cigar quite yet. The NASDAQ is still getting hit. The Mag 7 is trending down. The SPY is trending down. And the big guys are still baby buy. I'm surprised they haven't. That is making me a bit cautious of chasing this to the downside. The fact that in the net situation is the large guys were still net buyers today, kind of hitting the bid. But why? But why? Even with this, I guess maybe it is just a consolidation day. I suppose that's theoretically possible. Well, let's wait. Let's wait and see how this plays out. Right now, the 30-minute Orbo on the SPY has broken to the south side. The 30-minute Orbo on the Qs has not broken yet, but it's pretty darn close to breaking down. Pretty darn close. Let's see what the book map. All right, the buyers are still sitting there. New buyers have come in at 10. The buyers are still sitting there at the intraday low, and then there's buyers sitting right below the intraday low right here in this zone. Quite a bit of buying. For those of you who are curious, book map is what you see on the screen right now. Depending, like you could see here, they offer basically the link is pinned to the top of chat, but you can see they offer a ton of different deals. They have a free version, they have monthly, yearly, lifetime, and then they have all these different packages. So check it out. You could read it. You could see what you like. Maybe you want to start out with the free one, see if it's like up to what would assist you in your trading. Oh, hang on.
Target filled.
Oh, that was a fast one. Oh, okay. And that one worked. Fuck, it didn't work. Gosh, fucking damn it. I know you're not supposed to take the Lord's name in vain, or you could spend an eternity in hell, but I would also argue that we're in fresh waters because I've been just utterly fucked by my data right now. Utterly fucked by my data. Disconnect. Reconnect. How long until a newly activated account works on Apex? It should be like 2 minutes.
Order submitted.
No.
Target filled.
No. Stop it. No. All right. We're not playing with that. I accidentally enabled a strategy and it fired again. No way. We're not screwing with that one today. I learned my lesson in the past where I enabled and re-enabled and trades were firing off. No way, honey. We are not screwing with that one. I'm done. No way am I doing that again. Oh, no. We learned our lesson in the past. I've been hoodwinked by that in the past. Not doing it. I made that mistake. It was a silly mistake. I'll leave the other ones enabled the way they are, but the Apex ones are staying turned off, folks. The other ones are going to stay turned off. So anyway, if you sign up on Apex right now, you could get a nice 80% off deal. I do recommend, based on what you guys are seeing today, I don't know anything about websites, so I can't say anything positive or negative. Rhythmic, I can tell you I'm currently having issues, so I would recommend Tradeovate. And also, there's the added benefit of you don't have to have a PC. Rhythmic is exclusively for PCs, while Tradeovate, you could use it on a PC or a Mac, and you could check it on your phone, if like your iPhone and stuff like that. So it's the same cost now. Historically, Tradeovate was more expensive, but it is now the exact same cost. So if you're going to do it, like I said, I wouldn't use Rhythmic. I don't know anything about wealth charts. I would say go with the Tradeovate unless you have like a good reason to be going with wealth charts. So anyway, don't forget, use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, to get 80% off and pass your eval in one day. It's going to last for just over another week. But once again, 80% off. Use that code GOONIE, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And also in the description of the video is you're going to find this link to Bookmap. If you want to, if this is good for day traders and scalp traders, if you want to know where the sitting buy orders are, the sitting sell orders, I like to use them in conjunction with each other. What time is it? I'm a little nervous, folks. And to be clear, on all the trades I've done today, I have not used the copier. I'm about to use the copier, but I haven't. I've applied the strategy individually to each account. If people are curious of like, oh, is this a copier issue, this, that, I'm getting the sneaky suspicion that it is, in fact, a data issue. A sneaky suspicion that it is, in fact, a data issue. All right, let me get back over here. Here's a quick look at the options flow. It was good until about 9:48, getting clocked. The Mag 7, good until about 10, getting clocked. And actually now the Mag 7's diving, the worst it has today. And then looking at the NASDAQ, diving. Individual equities, Tesla popped, giving some of it back. NVIDIA giving a decent amount of it back. Palantir popping and holding. Microsoft, flat, slightly down. Apple, slightly down, slightly up, holding. Netflix, nothing. MSTR, down. Meta, up, then just got hit. Avago, up, now down. AMD, down and sideways. Oh, brother. Matt, it's Skynet. Just admit it. Trex, you just don't want me to use Skynet because it's going to lead me to too much power and fortune. You have an issue. You have a lot of clanker hate in you, don't you, Trex? I don't see race. I don't see clankers, you know? All right. We are now officially back in the red. Technically, this strategy might still fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there are 8. That is right, and none of them are Apex. That's what I expected to be true. That's what I expected to be true. One of these days, we're going to figure it out. One of these days, these clankers are going to pay me money. All right, just to keep everyone on the same page here. My system, Skynet, is only allowed to trade one more time today. Granted, some of the Apex trades did lose, they just didn't trade. It is what it is. I don't know. There's always tomorrow, and unfortunately, when I run into some of these problems, well, hang on. There was one problem that I could fix. This trade 2 was skipped today when it should not have been skipped today. So I need to figure that one out. So that one's on me. The other parts of the problem, I don't know how I can figure it out. Because it's not a strategy thing. It's a data thing. Oh. I think I know how to. I think I know a check I could do. Oh, I think I just figured it out. Oh, I think I know a sneaky. I think there's a built-in strategy I could use and use it in a different way to do the validity check for me. It's just going to be it's going to be tough because there is a strategy that allows you to pull the current unrealized P&L. And the question is it pulling this unrealized P&L or is it pulling the chart unrealized P&L? I think it's pulling the chart's unrealized P&L, which would not help me. That would be a problem. But if it's pulling the unrealized P&L from here, that's a different story. And I can actually use that. Fuck. I think the first one is pulling it from the chart. So that's not going to help me. Account. Oh, fucking clankers, man. Fucking clankers. How can I work? I need a workaround. Basically, I don't want the chart data. I want this data. Huh. I'm just, Meta's puking. Palantir's holding. Palantir's the only, well, Apple's technically green as well. Everything else is going red. It's going red pretty rapidly. Like, I mean, I called this out to all of you guys. You guys, everyone with earballs heard that I'm calling out 6,300. This is the next place I think we could theoretically bounce. Maybe 304. Support. 304. I really care about 300 key technical level, key psychological level. And then by the time you get between 90 and 95, that's exactly where we are talking about this giant positive gamma node over here. It's just on top, and you can see all these put credit spreads. They sold the 6295, as in this player is betting that we're above it. And then the protection leg is down here at 6290. 6290. Oh brother, 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 oh brother. How much more room does that have? It has a decent chunk. That's another 7 points. That's another 7 points. Open door looks like it wants to turn. Let's talk about it. How does something look like it wants to turn? Like, are you seeing the options pick up on it? Like, what are you seeing? Is price just generically picking up? This looks like it wants to turn. OPEN. Open. Op-in. Open. Open. This is the thing to you that looks like it wants to turn. Well, at this point, you're just trying to trigger me. At this point, you're just trying to trigger me. Jesus. I hope that was a typo. I hope that was an autocorrect. This looks like it wants to turn to you. This looks like it wants to turn to you. Folks, child, We have better things to talk about. We have better things to chit chat about than that. Jesus. Looks like it wants to turn. Dude, please let me pay for your next optometry appointment because you need some glasses, man. You need some glasses. Looks like it's gonna turn. Jesus. I'm now at this point now I'm curious about the options flow. It's so bad they don't even want to show me the options flow. The candles are still undecided on open door. An open. Yeah, it's not loading for some reason. Mag 7 maybe attempting to find a base. Could be interesting. Puke, 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 puke. Now flat. Not necessarily bouncing, but at least it's not puking anymore. S&P 500 is catching a bit of a bid, but what is it? It's puts locking in their profits. A little bit of call buying, but it's more so zero DTE puts locking in a bit of their profits starting at 1027. So it's not necessarily bull stepping in. Granted, it is a little bit of bull stepping in, but nothing crazy. The big guys, ooh, let's zoom in. What just happened there? So they were slight buyers, and then it ticked down a little bit. It did tick down a little bit. Palantir's holding nicely. Other things are vomiting. What's the biggest loser on my watch list? Coinbase, followed by MicroStrategy, followed by ASML, followed by Soxal. So Palantir crushing it. Apple actually... So Palantir and Apple are actually having somewhat decent days, even though the market's getting fucking murked. Imagine where the market would be right now if Apple weren't trending up. My live chat is blank. Not sure if you see this, but can you... What I think about Lululemon's chart? Lululemon. I have not looked at this one in a minute. Ugh. That looks horrible. But it's also too far gone to chase it. It looks like it had really bad earnings. Remember, companies like this one are going to be uniquely receptive to the impact of tariffs because they're making all their clothes in China and Vietnam, specifically Vietnam. So the Vietnam tariffs.
Order canceled.
Fuck yeah. I'm done. Done on the day. Was it a little bit of a drinking and driving situation? Did we take a couple wrong turns, go off the road, have moments of panic where the berries and cherries were behind us? Yes. But also like drinking and driving, we got to where we were going. And before someone yells at me in chat, I am not condoning drinking and driving. It's called a joke. It's literally just called a joke. Obviously, do not drink and drive, but I think the metaphor, it works. We stumbled quite a bit. We actually stumbled a lot a bit. But all right, so done on the day. The best account, which was due to a lot of slippage, was 1,095, followed by 960, 811, and then it got to where all my accounts should be at. So right here, these take profit accounts are where they I should be. Every account should have been at 555. Some are slightly above. Actually, one of them's doubled up. And then these ones are below. One's below by one trade, and then other ones missed even two trades. So some of these are at 360. Some of them are at 450. Like I said, it missed trades. It missed trades. 555. This is where I should have been at. Somewhere in the mid 500s. Like I said, some before, some below, but it is what it is. I want to clarify. I am done. Let me unenable all this stuff just so stuff doesn't fire. Disable. Cool. Positions. Uh-oh. Why did I lose that? All right. Well, I better not save this workout layout or I'm going to lose all my stuff. Anyway, here you go. I'm flat. There are no positions. Let me cancel all these. I want to make sure rogue trades don't fire. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to clean this up. All right. All right. We're going to exit out of that. Cool. So that's it for me in terms of my active trading. Of course, I still have on like swing trades and whatnot. That Mag 7 is taking a hit. What time is it? 10:34. And she's getting goosed. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour bearish, 5 minute, 10 minute, even the 30 minute and the 4 hour back to breaking down here. Oh, golly. What are these big guys doing? The big guys, it's still slight net buying, like baby, but it is technically on the positive side here. Lulu is a Canadian company too, paying for Canada. Yeah, so I mean, they might get double hit then in terms. No, well, it'd still just be a single hit. It's not exactly that straightforward. Just because you are headquartered somewhere else, they might have their legal headquarters in the U.S. Sometimes companies will do that, like a dual one. Dude, that's just puking. That is just puking. Puking. Oh, golly. Golly gee willikers, folks. Can I get a golly? Can I get a freaking golly? What is today? Today is August the 5th, all day, I believe. All right, that's in there. If you're in the Discord, Piper just fired. Piper just fired if you're in there. I have not done any of my own trades yet, but the question is why? But why, Matthew? But why, Matthew, have you not done that? It's a great question. It's a great question, team. Maybe I should sell some premium myself on the day. If you guys had to sell premium right now as my financial advisors, where would you sell it? 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 Ooh. Ooh. Oh, we're kind of too far gone, folks, if I'm being honest. Vol's actually picking up a little bit. But the strikes that I'm interested in selling, we're kind of far away, no? I just don't even know if the risk is worth it today. Like, we're pretty far gone, man. Pretty far gone. Today's the 5th. Cello. High of day call credit spread was the move. I mean, that's viable, but we're just far away from it now. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. I mean, you really can't sell it for that much. This is getting goosed pretty good. Dude, we are just dropping like a sack of taters right now. All right, like I said, I call that 6,300, and just below that, you also have some action between 90 and 95 due to the put credit spread. If that doesn't hold, okay, two things to clarify here. When we come down to roughly this zone, these two yellow lines, decent chance of at least some sort of reversionary bounce. Will it lead to recovery? I have no idea. It could lead to a recovery. It could also vomit. I'm just letting you know, high odds chance that there's some sort of reaction here from both dip buyers and from short profit takers. If from there we still have more aggressive selling than we do buying. Obviously, your next target is somewhere between yesterday's low and the next open interest level. So we're talking 6275 to 6270. So that means, first of all, I wouldn't chase this. If you want to be short right now, I don't think this is the point to chase it. I think the point to chase it, if you wanted to, is you come down, wait for the first bounce, you wait for the first bounce to fail, and then you target the crack and play it all the way down here. I wouldn't do it now just because what's your risk point? All the way up here, it's the high of the day. I just think you're taking on too much risk. So even though I agree, intraday, the bears are obviously winning, that doesn't mean you just throw on a bearish position willy-nilly. You have to know what your risk point is. So for me, the fact that we're at 304 and we could either bounce off of 300, 95, or 90 and maybe bounce back up to 310, 315, something like that, would just see some sort of arbitrary bounce. I would be waiting for a failed bounce. That would be, I believe, the textbook way to take advantage of this, because you're minimizing your risk, because you could risk whatever the recent high is, because right now the recent high is just simply too far away. So why not wait for the high of the bounce to have something like reasonable to base your trade off of? And then from there, you're looking for a crater and basically targeting somewhere between 75 and 70, yesterday's low, key open interest level. And if you're really going for it, you could scale out there and then have some runners all the way on to the closing value from Friday at 6238. So that would be the bear setup, the bear scenario in this particular case. But to very much drive it home, just willy-nilly chasing is not a good idea. It really isn't. It really, really isn't. The highs are always too far away, eh, Matt? No, you just have to wait for a new high. Generally, if you're more reactive to as the highs are being put in, that's how you can inherently minimize your risk. But right now, we just had such a steady sell-off that your reasonable risk point is literally the intraday high. So that means if you want to take it, you'd probably have to size down quite a bit just so you can handle that particular risk. I find that people, whether the risk is close or farther away, it's common for people to use the same size, and your sizing should be inherently adjusted based on how far away your risk point is. Full-blown squeeze on open after 256. Oh, boy. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. If you're in it, I wish you the best of luck. I don't want you guys to lose money, but I'm telling you, it is a low likelihood play. It is a statistically low likelihood play. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour are all bearish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour are all bearish. We are right above a key level. The big guys still technically slight net buyers. We were looking at Lulu, which is just getting destroyed. Let's go through our list. Palantir gapped up to a new all-time high. That's exciting. Congrats if you got a piece of that. Let me edit this. Crossing down. Okay, cool. Apple, actually, even though it's green on the day, it's one of two green ones on my watch list. Daily chart is just sideways. Coinbase still continuing to show weakness after its earnings. MSTR still continuing to show weakness after its earnings. Let me redraw some of this stuff. ASML continuing to show weakness after its earnings. Soxel, which is going to be the semiconductor triple leverage, we can move that down just because it's an ETF. Meta almost got a new all-time high, but showing weakness probably tied to the overall market. Tesla still, even though it's red on the day, it's still technically in its consolidation zone. Nvidia was gearing up this morning, had an issue at 180, quite a bit of open interest there, so still technically consolidating. Microsoft, earnings beat, came down, try to recover, looking like Meta, but overall market is soft today. Netflix still bleeding off from its earnings. SMCI has earnings tonight, so who cares about technicals? Circle, IPOs always suck. The fact that this one's held on for so long, I think it's just a matter of time before it comes all the way back down to the 60s. Rum, just chilling, not doing much. DJT is actually still showing weakness. Lower highs, lower lows. QCOM showing some weakness. XRP right at $3. Solana getting rejected at its EMA cloud in the mid 160s. Texas Roadhouse just chilling in the low 180s. Bonds are picking up, so yields must be dropping. Oil it's chilling at 65. Gold is picking back up. That's not so good for the market. Gold is picking up as vol is finally catching a bid. And bonds are going up. Bonds are going up, gold is going up, and vol is going off. We're seeing a little bit of a transition to risk off, folks. A little bit of a transition to risk off here. Interesting. We're below 300. Call your mom, call your grandma, call your aunt. We're fucking getting snapped today, team. Uh-oh. Alert the authorities. Looks like the stock market was on a roller coaster going backwards because it is about to puke. Well, it's been puking. It's been puking. Puts saved for now. So I came in today with puts as well. And to be honest, I didn't look at it all day yesterday because I thought it would be a little bit too depressive. Fuck. It's still, even on this puke, it's still kind of depressive. I must admit. I'm down about 33 G's. And that's even on today's $10,000 recovery. So wish I never looked at it. Holy shit. Why did I even bring that account up? When in doubt, don't look at your account. I needed around 6,250 to even have a fighting chance. Like, I need the market to sell off by another $5 on the spot. I need 50 points down just to not be hemorrhaging money. I got myself into a bit of a pickle there, Dick. A bit of a pickle. Not ideal. But hey, maybe I get lucky. Like I said, when you don't have the skill, just pray for luck. Definitely depressing. Well, Steve, that's why they invented drugs and alcohol. That is 100% why they invented drugs and alcohol. Remember, if you want to use Bookmap, which is exactly what I use to see the sending buy orders and sell orders, it's in the description of the video. Same thing with Apex, 80% off. Use that code Goonie. And I want to remind you, probably use Tradeovate, especially if you want to do systematic trading. And if you want to get into systematic trading, but you don't know where to get started, luckily for you, that video just dropped. I recommend you guys all check it out. Chaos will put it in chat right now. It's free. It's up on Rumble. It's up on YouTube. Here, I'll show you the exact video. My content. Right here. Easily build your own AI trading strategies to beat Apex. And then it's up on the secondary YouTube channel. So it's up on Rumble. It's up on YouTube. Obviously, it's 100% free. So if you want to do your own systematic trading, this is the place to get started. It's just like step one. It's the foundation. And it's meant for people who don't know how to code, who don't want to learn how to code. It's meant for people who want algorithmic, systematic, mechanical trading systems, but do not want to code. So feel free to check it out. Like I said, there's no gotcha. There's no anything like that. It's just a free video, a 20-minute lecture of how to get going and how to think about this type of a thing. Oh, brother, dude, Mag 7 is puking. All that buying from yesterday just gone. The beat Apex was absolute fire. Use it, people. Thank you, Dixie Normus. That's very kind of you. And must I say, huge. Huge. Coin is just puking. MSTR puking. ASML puking. Meta was looking fine, now puking. Tesla was looking fine, now puking. Nvidia, oh, holy shit. This is why the market's getting rocked. Wait, was there some piece of news I missed? Because like for Nvidia to take that kind of a hit, who would be reporting it? Financial juice. Let's see. No. Those were higher than expected. Okay, this was slightly lower than expected. Some buying, some selling. There's not big news. Am I missing like investing? What am I missing? Feels like something else is going on. Palantir, we knew all-time high. Leaders of NATO do whatever I want. I actually agree with that. Trump will probably not run again. Trump says he would like to run again, but probably he won't. Well, that'd piss off a lot of people. Will raise India tariff substantially over the next 24 hours. India has not been a good trading partner. That was an hour ago at 9:21, actually before the market opened. Well, that's not so good. Yeah, I don't think we're missing any big news. Let me reload this. I feel like I'm getting an old batch here. Coming soon, wallet.rumble.com, built by Tether and Rumble and partnered with MoonPay. MoonPay.
And certainly suboptimal, but rigged? Where do you get the
Oh,
notion
this is
that
the
it's
job
rigged? Or do you
numbers.
have any evidence there?
It is antiquated, but it's also very political. And, I had an election recently where I did very well, won every swing state, won the popular vote, won everything, all right? Won all the counties. It's, I think, 87% of the counties were Republican up. That's never happened before. And yet I had to go through hell. And just days before the election, they put out numbers that it was like the country was on fire. It was doing so well. And then they did a revision about 2 weeks later, and the revision was down by almost 900,000 jobs. You remember that? And I said, I said, what would have happened? What would have happened if I lost? Think of it. I would have said, they gave phony numbers, and then they revised them a week and a half later.
Those were benchmark numbers, though, Mr. President. That happens. They do that. They do that twice a year. And it reconciles the monthly figures with, like, the overall numbers. And it was a big number. And obviously,
the numbers were rigged. The numbers were rigged. Biden wasn't doing well. He was doing poorly. They announced these phenomenal numbers 2 days before the election. And a little bit before that, always these great numbers. And you knew it wasn't doing well. You knew prices were through the roof and inflation was terrible. The whole thing was bad. But think of it. Then they did the biggest revision, I think, in history, of almost 900,000 jobs. And it turned out to be more than that because later on they did another revision. And so they gave phony numbers in order to win the election. After I won the election, I said, too big to rig.
Too big to rig. Captain Condor's getting smashed right now, right here. Captain Condor wants it above 6295. Protection leg at 6290. And they are sweating. And it is not even 11 a.m., dude. They want it above 95, and we're trading at 93. Dude, they are sweating, and it's not even 11 a.m. Ouch. That's going to be probably a good, maybe roughly $2 million loss, roughly. I'd have to see at what time it was traded and, like, collect the premiums and whatnot, but maybe a little bit more. That's probably about a $2 million loss, folks. You're seeing some group get blown out. This is, remember when I was talking about the potential bounce? This is their shot. It didn't bounce at all at 300. We got a little bit of a reversion right off of 95. They smoked that. They're trying to fight it back up. That's lethargic. I thought they'd at least have like a 5-point bounce or something. Let's see where this goes. But if this doesn't hold, we're talking 75-70, folks. Like, that's very evidently the next target. Let's see how much buyers they really have stepping in. Mag 7 still getting goosed. SPY still getting goosed. There's a little bit of an upswing right now. This might become something bigger. We're actually below the spot gap implied one-day move low. We're at that put wall. We're at the battle zone right now. This is going to be the decisive point of the day. Obviously, when they do this spread, it's by 5 points, but I just thought that would make the chart messy. So instead of doing 95 by 90, I just put the little horizontal line here right in the middle just to clean up the chart a little bit more. But technically, it is 95 by 900. It's like this 5-point region. Anyway, this is the battle zone. If it slice right through it, that would really show some weakness on the bull side. honestly, even the bounce we've had thus far, I would classify kind of as a weak bounce. So my base assumption was literally maybe a bounce back up to this high, like all the way up to here. And of course it could still happen, but if this gets no bounce and we just vomit straight through, Jesus. Oh, there's quite a bit of selling on the NQ right above. This is the picture from basically market open till now. Just straight selling. Look at that, dude. They've just been fucking bull. There was some decent buying, all these green circles, and then the faucet just got turned off at 10 a.m. From there, selling. They tried to save it in there, and then just boom. Little spurts of attempting to buy, but overall, look at all these red circles. And then there's a huge ceiling being put in at 180, or it was there for a second. But even then, like, it's just, they're getting steamrolled. They're just getting steamrolled. Holy guacamole, Batman. Even that, we had a spurt of buying. Nope. Vomit. Wow. I'm not even seeing much buying coming in below right here. If anything, on every pop, I'm seeing more people trying to get out. Trying to sell on any pop. Of course, the market's dynamic. This could change on any moment. But wow. As of right now, there's just not that much buying coming in. Yeah, smacked right back down to, well, we're halfway in the zone. Because remember, it's spread 95 by 90. I just cut it in half, but this person's completely blown out below 90. So if we're hanging out below the current intraday low, that person's going to feel a lot of pain. It's a group. That group's going to be feeling a lot of pain. And in my humble estimation, it really sets up the shot of going down to 75 to 70, somewhere in this 5-point zone. Mag 7, not looking good. SPY tried to get, might be recovering here. Let's see. Some calls were bought, but more so that bounce was because puts took their profits off the table. That makes sense. You had 0 DT puts locking in some of their profits. I think we're going to have quite a show. As I said earlier today, the chance of breaking such a large positive gamma thing is low. But when you do, even though it's statistically rare, those become the exciting days. And we could have a trendy day after this now. Well, it's already arguably been a trendy day. We're going to see how this one goes. Question for all of you. When it comes to all the audience members who do sim defunded, who's your favorite one? Obviously, I think a lot of people start off with Apex. Then from there, you learn either about Top Step or Take Profit Trader. And now people are starting to have a little bit of more of an appreciation for Tradeify and for funding ticks. So for the people in here who do sim defunded, I know in the Discord, Apex is probably the most popular, followed by Take Profit Trader, TPT. But in terms of the viewers, which one are you guys on? So Chris is on TPT, Take Profit. I'm asking because my producer and I are like trying to make the videos for the firms that you guys like use the most. So for example, we made a video explaining the Apex rules. Like we're not going to make one for a random ass company like My Funded Futures if no one's using it. So like that's why I'm kind of asking you which ones you're on so we have a better idea of what to make the videos for. TPT has no consistency rules on Pro. That's true. But it's more difficult to pass their test. So there's always trade-offs. Like they all have like slight nuanced rules from each other. I started my Take Profit, but I haven't traded yet. Still learning how to trade on Tradeivate. Well, you could do it through Ninja if you'd like. You don't have to. But, of course, you could also do it on Tradeivate, which is nice because if you need to check it on your phone, then you're good. On Apex, about to get TPT. So, in my humble opinion, I think it's actually best to use a group of them because then you can kind of play the pros of each of the accounts off of each other. So what I mean when I say that is like, for example, if you have an Apex account and a Take Profit account, it's more difficult to pass the take profit. But when you do, like who the audience member like rightfully pointed out, is once you pass the buffer, you could get payouts every day. On the flip side, Apex, which is generally cheaper for the test, it's easier to pass the test, but when you do it, you have to trade for 8 days to get a payout. So what I like about using multiple of them together is, while you're waiting for a couple of them to cook and get you money, most likely you could take advantage of the pros on the other one and get payouts in that meantime. And then as you're building those back up, hopefully the first batch is ready to go and you get money from that. So in my mind, it makes the most sense to identify your top 2 or 3 favorites and then just continually take advantage of the pros of them. And ideally, like, the cons kind of balance each other out. But also, with that being said, on the complete other end of the spectrum, remember, this is a hyper fast growing field. So there's a lot of scam ones out there. So whether you decide to use a firm because of me or not because of me, I highly recommend that you do your own due diligence. As of right now, I only use 3. There are like tens, maybe even hundreds of these companies. I only use Apex, I only use Take Profit Trader, and I only use Funding Ticks. To clarify, I do believe that Tradeify is reputable, and I don't not use it because of that. I just don't like the daily loss limit rule. I think daily loss limit rules are a little bit predatory. So the fact that they're getting rid of those on some of the firms, I'm a bigger fan of. So once again, if you have a trading system and a methodology in which the daily loss limit doesn't bother you, hey, have at it. I'm just saying, for the way that I trade and the way that I manage things, I just don't have success with daily loss limit rules. So just want to be clear on that I haven't heard anything negative about the firm in terms of people not getting payouts, of sus stuff going on. Nope, have not heard anything about that. It's literally, I'm just trying to identify the ones that not only do I trust that they're going to give me payouts, but also that the rules are set up in a way where I believe that I could be successful. And I'm just, to be completely honest, I'm not successful when there's a DLL, a daily loss limit. I believe if Take Profit bumped up to the accounts to 10 pros, game changer. I love daily payouts. I agree with that. I think that'd be awesome. Can you react to the latest CoffeeZilla episode about day trading? Would love to hear your hot take. Is that the one on like Forex? I think so. There's a lot of scammers in the Forex space, and it makes me actually kind of feel bad for the people who are trying to be honest within that space. I saw parts of it, like it must have come up either on my TikTok or on my Twitter. But yeah, no, CoffeeZilla rightfully calling people out, where some guy was trying to tell you how to trade Forex, and then he didn't even know what was going on, and inherently he was just promoting someone else's course, and it was an awkward thing, a very awkward thing. But once again, can you make money trading Forex? Yeah. Do I think that it's unnecessarily difficult relative to futures and options and equities? Yeah, I do. I used to trade Forex. Specifically, I would trade binary options on Forex. And I don't know, like Forex, it's really difficult to find an edge. Can you find an edge? Of course you can. Yes, edges do exist. I'm not going to sit here and be like, nope, it's completely random and you're going to have no chances of success. I just think you're fighting an uphill battle, because a lot of the retail facing education, they're not gurus, they're furus, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I used to have Top Step, but not my taste. You know what kind of put me off from Top Step is how the owner, Michael Patek or whatever the fuck his name is, how he acts. Honestly, that's the reason I don't know it. They might have good rules, they might have bad rules. I really don't know much about it. I just think it's weird. And I feel that way also about, there's another one where the CEO, they're always in just like middle school level drama on Twitter. And it's weird to me, because I think, don't you have better things to do in your life? So when I see the CEOs and the owners acting in such a childish way, it really does turn me away from using them. It's just like a bad vibe in my mouth, and that's how I feel about Top Step, which is sad, because maybe the product's great, maybe it is, maybe it's horrible, I don't know. All I can tell you is I don't use it because the CEO acts like a child on the internet, and that's just like a very weird brand decision, if you ask me. So it's unfortunate, because like I said, the product could be awesome, it might be horrible, but when you act like a child, I just don't. I mean, we are talking inherently about potentially serious money, so I don't want to be talking about potentially serious money with unserious characters. Matt wants to protect his viewers, but he does degenerate things. It's okay because it's the only one that can afford it. All of his listeners are idiots. LOL. No, I never said that. And when I do degenerate things, I like the world knows it. Like I call it out beforehand. No one watching is surprised when like I'm very, very transparent and forthcoming about it. Like I literally announce it beforehand. And as for all of you being idiots, no, there's like a very, very small amount. I do degenerate things every day. That's just inherently not true. I've done degenerate things and I will continue to do degenerate things, but do I do it every day? No. Same thing is like speaking in these extremes, all of his listeners are stupid. No, there's a very small amount of you who are incredibly fucking stupid. And then unfortunately, you're so dumb that the rest of the people who are in here for whatever good reasons, they're trying to learn, they're smart. Some like I learn from, some learn from me. It's a cross-pollination thing. No, a lot of them are absolutely amazing. Most, I would say an extraordinarily high percentage of the community are phenomenal people doing phenomenal things. And I wish them nothing but the best. And then there's a couple dipshits like you that can't understand that. But the guy doing SoFi is a moron. Yeah, he is a moron. What's the difference? Like what? He is a moron. And if you can't understand, like, see, that's the difference here. Is so much of the audience can understand that. They become like, okay, I get this concept that if you lose money, if you make money, that doesn't necessarily make it a good or a bad decision. So you're saying that he was smart because he made money. I'm saying that he was not smart because he went against the odds. Now I'm a dipshit. Yeah. You are a dipshit because you can't understand that basic concept. You should always be doing the smart odds play. And if you make that decision over and over again, you're going to do well in this. How is this even passive aggressive? I'm just calling you fucking retarded because you're fucking retarded. That's not passive aggressive. That's just like I'm explaining it. I am like literally spoon feeding to you why you are wrong. Like just absolute spoon feeding you. And if you don't get that, I don't know how to help you. Because you do smart shit. Okay, LOL. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. I don't know. Somehow I'm up $500,000 this year. Like I don't think, I wish I were lucky. I don't think I was so lucky to like stumble into $500,000. But hey, like if that's your prerogative, if you think that I just have done stupid shit and somehow lucked my way into being up $500,000 this year, all right. I guess I'm just lucky. And you guys should then just be stoked that you're in the presence of someone who's incredibly lucky. I don't know what to tell you. Do I do smart shit? I think so. I think that's where I got the $500,000 from. Do I do dumb shit? Yeah, I probably should be up another $500,000. I should probably be up $1 million this year. So like, I think it's a dangerous recipe. I think I have a couple dashes of intellect and a couple dashes of degeneracy. I think that is reasonable, but I don't know. I guess you could all have our own thoughts on it. $500,000 pennies. Well, you're probably not even up this year, so whatever. And yeah, are there people in here who are probably up more money than me? That's awesome. Congrats to them. They're crushing the game. Absolutely crushing the game. Did that make 8K yesterday, 2 to 5K every day? Yeah. See, and that's what I don't get about this, which is probably the guy with the same account making like a different account now. So I'm probably talking to the same fucking retard. But like, that's the point that's frustrating is you have someone who's lying. They're like, I make 2 to 5K every single day. Like, if you're so stupid to fall for that, you should not be allowed in the market. Like, you should not be able to engage in the capital markets if you're that fucking stupid. If you really believe that there's some guy out there making 2 to 5K every single day and he's so smart, dude, why gotta be so aggressive? Well, why do you have to be so retarded? The answer to why I'm so aggressive, which, I mean, if you think that's aggressive, you're a bitch, dude. You haven't been around aggressive. Do you actually mean, why did I say things that hurt your feelings? I think that's a more accurate question. Aggressive? Dude, this is the issue. And it's so funny that it's coming from someone on Rumble. Like, you are the product of participation trophies. Like, fuck, dude. Oh, he's so aggressive. He's so aggressive. Dude, you're such a bitch. If you think that's aggressive, you need to go, like, I don't know, put on a helmet, because the world's going to be a rough place for you. It's going to be an absolutely rough place for you. I think Matt might be mentally ill. Probably. I don't even think I could disagree with that one. That might be a very astute observation. But this, like, so aggressive. Just say it. Say what I said hurt your feelings. Just be honest. Just admit it. Dude, what's so funny about this is, like, the Rumble chat used to be the group who, like, always laughed at YouTube if they popped off because I didn't say something phenomenal about Joe Biden. But now it's completely flipped. It is literally the YouTube chat making fun of Rumble because you guys have, like, your backbone disappeared. You're a couple months into the presidency of your guy, and you can't handle a single criticism. Like, literally, we have a grown man in chat saying I'm aggressive because I hurt his feelings. Like, what the fuck happened? What was the flip that all of a sudden we just have, like, all these bitch-made people over here on Rumble? And it's sad because, like I said, a high percentage, we're talking high 90% of people are, like, in there, and that they get what's going on, they get the show, and they're stoked to be on a platform that truly supports free speech. And it must be just so embarrassing to see the other people above you and below you in chat that have, like, the spinal, I guess, construction of a fucking jellyfish, an absolute jellyfish. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I have no feelings left. They got killed when I was like, oh, well, here's this guy. I wish Rumble would actually stop people from making multiple. Why are you conflating all this and this? No. I'm trying to be specific that this does not apply to a high 90%. I think a lot of the original Rumble viewers are actually the people, like, I really like to hang out with because they don't, like, fucking, like, they're not going to get upset about people's words and feelings. And I find, like, a lot of my, like, own life philosophy is in alignment with some of this OG group. But there's new people who are just so loud and they're so whiny and they are distinctly different than the upwards of 90% of other chatters. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people on Rumble who their cadence of watching is just to listen. Like, literally just to listen. So then all of a sudden the chat gets flooded by, like, 3 people who have their head so far up an ass that, like, they need more than a shovel. So it's kind of like the, what's the saying, like, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, or fucking whatever that is. It's just, there's a very, very small finite amount of dipshits who's probably 2 dipshits. They just keep making accounts over and over and over and over again, that it ruins it for everyone else. And it is besmirching your good name. And also, Rumble chat can't get it up. Well, that's a secondary issue. That's very much a secondary issue. Sydney Sweeney makes him anxious. Dude, she makes us all anxious. She does. What is this question? If a company has a history of selling off after earnings, why is it dumb to make the play? It's not, but that's not true. Like, I can make up stats too. That doesn't make it true. Hey, if the stock market has a history of rallying 18% every single Monday, why would you not go long on Monday? See, I could do it too. That doesn't mean it's accurate. That's a crazy thing. Especially in America, you could say whatever you want. That does not make it true. Yeah, I'm just going to go with that. The market rallies 18% every single Monday. Uh-oh. Here we go. Now you guys are all fighting with each other. All of a sudden, the people that have a little bit of a spine here are starting to attack the people who don't have a spine. And surprise, surprise, the spineless people are freaking out. That's funny. That's funny. Mag 7, not popping, but not dropping as aggressively as it did. S&P 500 kind maybe putting in a higher low, or this just could be a lower high. You're going to need more time to figure it out. We need to either take out the recent high, or we're going to puke from here and we're going to take out the recent low. It's in that awkward in between where you don't know what the next low actually measures. Is this a higher low, or is this an in between thing and we take out the recent low? So it's like that awkward like pause period. But where are we bouncing from? Well, we're bouncing from the exact level that was called out to all of you even before the market opened. How did we come up with these levels? You just look at the open interest. It's nothing like, I get that there's going to be a lot of furus out there telling you that this is some sort of mystical Harry Potter magic that only they know, and you're going to have to give them $10,000 a month to get the super big secrets. Folks, I'll tell you, all you have to do is look at the big open interest levels and understand where the big players are positioned. And then you look for the market reactions at those exact levels, because that's where the big players are. And you're going to expect them to react at those said levels. So these levels, it's not hocus pocus, folks. It is not overcomplicated. It's actually relatively very, very simple. As long as you understand the concept of some numbers are bigger than other numbers, you too could also do this. Like that's, hey, is number A bigger than number B? As long as you understand the linear increasing value of different numbers, you could also do that. Like that's all it is. It's nothing special. It's nothing special whatsoever. Anyway, we're getting that reversionary bounce. This is the exact situation that I was telling you about, that personally, if I was looking for a short position today, I'm done trading on the day. But if I were looking for it, I'd be looking for this bounce, exactly the one that is happening right now. I'm trying to find my drawing tool. Where is the drawing tool? Is it here? Can I do this? Yeah. I'd be, oh, fuck. Okay, no, that's not the path I wanted. Shit. Fuck. All right. Stop. All right. Just focus on the first four. Don't worry about these other ones, because statistically, they are impossible. Can I redraw it? Here. That kind of works. This is the play I would be looking for. Obviously, if it doesn't start to break down, as in taking out recent lows, I wouldn't get into the play. This isn't something I would arbitrarily do. I'd look to take out a recent low. My risk would be whatever the recent high is. And then on the break, as it starts to go, I'd put my stop to break even and then just try to ride it all the way to down here. Maybe you get crazy lucky. I highly doubt it. I would scale out of most of my profits right at this level and then maybe leave a couple runners on. If it bounces, nope. Kill the runners, and then if it goes, well, you had runners to take advantage of it. But basically, I would wait for the actual snapping of a previous low. Ideally, that would be aligned with a continuation in the drop of delta from the options market, and then your risk is easy peasy. It's like literally whatever the recent high is, and then you just move on with your life. That's personally how I would approach it. You could take it, you could leave it, you could do whatever you want, but that's how I would personally approach the remainder of the day. Don't forget, use that code Goonie on Apex for 80% off, and then also on Bookmap, there are various deals. It's all in the description. Use that link, but they have a free version, of monthly, lifetime, and then all the different data packages as well. So make sure to check that out. If you're going to get started, I would say start with the free one. See like if you like it or not, and then move on. What's this one? You're right. Fuck off. You're pussies. I think you meant you're with an R-E. Like you are. Like your, remember it's a contraction. Like your, Y-O-U-R is ownership. Your pussy. Like that would be the pussy that you probably have. Well, you are a pussy. That's the apostrophe one where you have the R-E. Just to, hey, a little bit of grammar help. I'm happy to help. Happy to help. Anyway, folks, I hope you make a metric shitload of money today. We will be posting an update video later on today and then streaming once again tomorrow. We're going to have some fun in the sun. In the meantime, if you want to learn a little bit more about systematic algorithmic trading, check that video out. It's both up on Rumble, the main channel, and then the secondary channel on YouTube. It's probably also in the description of the video, and my mom will put it in chat. So feel free to check that out. Like I said, 100% free. It is just your good starting point for people who want systematic trading but don't want to code. It's where you want to get rocking for step one. That's what I have for you. Like I said, I hope you make a buttload of money, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.